What you tell yourself is what your reality is. I'm going to say that again. It doesn't matter what is going on in your 3D. The story that you're running inside of your head is exactly what shows up in your reality because you speak that story out loud. Let's break this down into little bitty pieces and let's talk about what you do. The first thing you do, you tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, even strangers, what the love of your life is doing. That's what you speak out loud. And that's exactly what you get. I can tell anybody's life and what is going on in it by the way they talk. And I'm just as guilty as talking as anybody else does because nobody corrects my words. So if I get stuck in a rut and I'm telling the same thing over and over again, and that huge story gets whittled down to a few short sentences, a sentence, or a single word. And that perspective, because of that sentence, word, is what keeps you stuck in your reality. But when you change your words and you change your perspective, boom, the love of your life shows up. The money shows up. The job shows up. The house, the car, everything you dreamed of shows up when you change that. How do you do that? Well, we're going to get into that today. But first, this is Susie, your beautiful Swan Queen. Welcome back to the garden, my beautiful duckling. Thank you for subscribing, smashing the like button, sharing my video. I love you. I am the best life coach with a 99.6% success rate in helping people get together with the love of their life. When you're ready to work with me one-on-one, join my paid Facebook group, Upscale Your Money with Delivery Dawn. Buy t-shirts from my daughter and her bestie. Those links are in the description below. When you want to revise your negative stories, go do my program. When you have negative stories, you have to let them go. That is step one in changing your reality. You can't continue to live in your highest timeline, the highest vibration, your best story ever, when you are telling your negative stories. And how do those negative stories go? I am very smart. Yes, I'm very smart. And my person does exactly what I want him to do, but I can't change my stories. How do I live in the 5D and go buy groceries in the 3D? Because in 5D, I'm a billionaire, but in 3D, I'm a broke-ass bitch who can't buy my food or pay my bills. Does this sound familiar? Because so many of us are saying, oh, I'm living in my 5D, and my 5D, I'm happily married, I'm wealthy, healthy, my life is amazing, but 3D? So you got to bridge the gap from 3D to 5D. And I tell you this all the time. Bridging the gap, screw the bridge of incidents. Forget about it. Forget about what manifesting has taught you. Because if you are doing what manifesting has taught you and you have no results, then you need to do something different. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and 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 over, expecting a different result. Are you going to get a result from saying, in 3D, all of this thing is going crazy, and in 5D, when is 5D going to catch up? You just future tensed what you're creating. So 5D's always in the future. Number two, things that we say. When is it going to show up? Future tense. Can't show up. Jim Carrey says, turn around. I don't have the chair to do that with. But you turn around and you say, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. My boyfriend is here. My husband is here. The money is here. The job is here. The car is here. The groceries are here. If you are living from the end, we just did this video. You'd be scrolling through Amazon. You'd be watching Netflix and you'd be chilling. Not the way it's taught. You'd literally be watching Netflix and your guy, your woman, your life would come walking through that door at the end of their day. You would be enjoying whatever it is you're doing, but you're not enjoying your life because right now, this very moment in time, what are you doing? You're talking about the negative story you don't want. So you have to stop talking about the negative story. And whatever tool, tip, technique that you need to use to stop doing that, you need to do. Because you can't tell me, and I get these messages all the time, how do I get my specific person? He canceled the date. He's ignoring my text messages. You just gave an order. So let's go to a restaurant, my love, and let's sit down and have a beautiful conversation together over a beautiful Mexican meal. It is going to be Thursday when this video goes live. So we're going to steal Taco Tuesday and make it Taco Thursday. You're going to be telling people, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to have Mexican with my friend tonight. We're going to go have a Mexican dinner tonight. It's going to be fun. We're going to go eat at my favorite Mexican restaurant. And my favorite Mexican restaurant is remodeling. They had a fire and they're not open yet. So Susie's dying for a Taco Tuesday where she can get a margarita and a fajita burrito minus the tortilla shell. I do not like the tortilla shells. So I get a fajita burrito because the fajita burrito comes with all the taco toppings that I like. I get lettuce and tomato, and I get refried beans, and I get guacamole and sour cream, and I get cheese sauce, and I get cheese with a side of rice. It's amazing. I freaking love it. And I know that it's American Mexican food. It's probably not traditional Mexican. And then I get a margarita to go with it. And I have a DD. So here's what we're doing. We're going to my favorite restaurant. I just told you what I love about my favorite restaurant. You're excited to meet me. You show up 15 minutes early. And you decide to go grab a table to make sure that we get the table. The waiter walks up to the table and says, what can I get you to drink? And you say, I'm waiting for my friend Suzie. Or you say, I'm waiting for Suzie. And he said, okay, I'll be back in a little bit. I show up at the restaurant. They tell me you're already seated. They show me my seat. I have a seat. We start talking about our day. The waiter walks up and says, what can I get you two to drink? And we said, oh, we already ordered. And he said, okay. So he walks away. We go back to our beautiful conversation, talking about our day and what we want to do this evening now that we're done with our day, and how great the food is at the restaurant. The waiter walks back up to the table and says, what can I get you two to drink? Oh, we already ordered our drinks. He said, okay, and he walks away again. We go back to our conversation. Now, I just told you what I wanted to order. I told you, my beautiful duckling, what I wanted to order. But I skipped one step. I didn't tell the waiter what I wanted to order. So now the waiter comes back to the table and says, what can I get you two to drink? And we're like, we already ordered, because I told you we mentally ordered it in our head, but we didn't tell the most important person what we wanted. So we tell the waiter again, we already ordered. And the waiter says, well, I am so sorry. The kitchen does not have an order for you, neither do So let's reorder this so I can get you what you would like to eat and drink this evening. And you're like, oh no, I ordered. Don't worry about it. It'll show up. So while you're waiting for it to show up, you're complaining about the service. Wow, the service is really slow. I mean, we've been here for how long is it? 10 minutes and we haven't even gotten our drinks yet. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is really strange. This guy keeps coming up to ask us our order, but I already put my order in. Like, I put it in 2 hours ago when I left work and I was doing my thing and running my errands. It's so excited about doing this. So I don't know why it wasn't waiting here for me when I got here. Like, this restaurant, what's wrong with it? Guy comes up the 4th time and says, all right, I have looked everywhere. Your order's been misplaced. What would you like to drink? Now you have to tell him your order. So you tell him, I'll have a margarita. I would like some chips and salsa to go with that. A fajita burrito minus the shell. No tortilla shell. And then you give your waiter your order. The waiter goes back to the kitchen. A minute later, my margarita comes out. It's Taco Tuesday, so it's 2 for 1. So you get a margarita and you have a DD as well. So we have our margaritas. We're eating our salsa and chips. And the waiter comes by and says, we're a little backed up in the kitchen, so your food is going to be a little bit longer. And I go, oh, well, can I get some cheese? You know that white cheese dip that you have? Because I don't know what it's called. And I tell him the white dip, white cheesy dip, whatever it is. And he's like, absolutely. Minute later, comes back out with my little cheesy dip. And I dip my chip in my salsa and my little cheesy dip and I eat it and I continue my conversation. And we are complaining about our specific person. We're complaining about our job. We're complaining about our life. We are complaining that our person ignores us. And across the way from us, at this beautiful little table, there is actually a beautiful little table there. I'll show it to you in a second. At this beautiful little table is another couple. And they're having dinner. And that couple's playing on their cell phone. Oh yes, they're playing on their cell phone. They're ignoring us and they're playing on their cell phone. They're not talking to somebody else. They're playing on their cell phone. So this beautiful couple manifested this date. And because they manifested this date, they are out, supposed to be enjoying themselves with their date, but this is what they're doing. So to see what these people are doing, just give me a sec while I get this figured out to show you how they're doing. Well, I am moving my camera. So first, peekaboo, we have to move my birthday flowers. And then we're going to turn the camera. Can you see them? Well, you know what? Maybe we can flip it. So let's go this way. Peekaboo! Is it going to let me flip it? Maybe not. So we're going to walk around and we're going to make sure we can see them. Oh, look, there they are. Oh, what are they doing? They're not even looking at each other. They're playing on their cell phones. See? This is what we do when we go to a restaurant with the love of our life. We go play on our cell phone. Whoops, we want the camera back here. What do? We play on our cell phones. But you and I, we're griping about the love of our life. They're ignoring each other. And they're sitting at the same table. They're not talking. They're not sharing. And the Swann couple is over there going, oh my God, these two couples. They're like, oh my God, these two couples, what is wrong with them? The two are ignoring each other, playing on their phones, and the other two are talking bad about their life. Your perspective that you are in is what dictates what you say and what you don't say. So your perspective, oh, life is good, life is amazing, life is wonderful, but it's only in 5D. And I know not all of my beautiful ducklings walk around and say 5D. I'm using that so you understand what you're doing. So then I tell you, in the video that one of my clients watched, it is called Stop Talking. And in that video, my client watched that video every single day, still listens to that video. And that video's been up for years, I think like 3 years. This person has everything they want because they listened to that video. What are you listening to every day? Because I get people who say, other coaches, I don't care about other coaches and what they teach you. If it's working for you, do it. But if you're going from their channel to my channel and it's not working for you, don't do it. You have to pick a technique. You have to do it every day for 30 days. And the easiest thing to control is the words that you speak out loud. Changing the phrases you say. It's easy. You work for a business and you have to answer the phone. And they've already come through an automated system. So you're calling your electric company, you're calling your cable company, you're calling your cell phone company, you're calling to check on getting insurance, you're calling to talk to your credit card company, you're calling to talk to your bank, you're calling to talk to somebody, and you got to go through their automated system. So you call their automated system. And you get through their automated system, they don't give you the answer you need. So you move on to get to a real person. I had to call my cable company today. And I hung up on the first person I talked to, and I called back and talked to a second person. And the first person was like really dry. Really dry. Really not in a good mood. You could tell when he answered the phone. And he literally just said, thank you for calling. Can I get your name? Thank you for verifying yourself through the automated system. The second person I talked to, and this guy was talking over me and really confused me. So apparently my cable company that has my internet is going paperless, and I've not gotten a bill. I don't know when the due date is on the bill. So I need to get a due date, find out what happened to paperless billing. And he said, well, you opted out of paper billing, so you're not going to get a bill. And if we get you a bill, you're going to have to pay to have a printed bill come out. And I'm like, wait a second, stop. And he's like, well, you did this. So I hung up and I called back. Because I'm just not going to deal with this person. I have way too much other stuff to do. So I call back. And the woman answers the phone. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? I'm like, oh, this is nice. And she tells me her name. So if I were answering the phone, it would be like, good morning. It's a beautiful day. My name is Susie. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? And you tell me. Right away, that conversation is better. Because I'm setting up the set. It's a beautiful day and it's a pleasure to speak with you. When I worked at the bank, a lady actually used to do that for her opening. She used the name of the bank though. She would say, it's a beautiful day at the bank. My name is Susie. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Who do you have the pleasure of speaking with? You get to talk to your specific person today. You get to talk to your boss today. You get to talk to the waiter today. You get to do this. It is not a God-given right that I have to talk to you. And manifesting says you're God, and it is your God-given right to have this. But it's not in my world, because nobody has free will in your world, but in their world, they have no free will. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. I have free will in my world, but in my specific person's world, he has free will. But nobody has free will in my world, so nobody has free will in my specific person's reality. So my person can reject what I'm manifesting for them, and I have to get something urgently, and I don't know what to do, and I really need to spend my birthday or Halloween with my specific person, and he's not conforming. And this goes the same thing for a bill. This is what we're doing. We're taking manifesting and we're breaking it apart, and we're saying it's not working. Instead of, why is it working? Why am I seeing this from a different perspective? Oh, but other manifesting coaches, and I do not know what coach said this. This is a comment under my YouTube video. Other coaches said, if you are looking for evidence, I'll go read you the quote. I'll go read this to you. Comments. It's literally a comment. It says, I've learned from other coaches that you shouldn't be looking in the 3D for results. When I ask, show me the evidence that it's working, I feel a bit desperate. Does that mean I'm not asking in the right way? And does the universe start showing the evidence in a day? So I'm not bashing any coaches. I have no idea what coach taught him this or her this. I have no idea. But you ask for evidence every single day in 3D. You ask for evidence that you get to clock in on time at work, because you're sitting there and you have to clock in, and you have so many minutes after your clock in time before you're late, and you get a point at your job. And points vary. You are driving to work and you're asking for all the lights to be green so you can get to work on time. So you're looking for evidence that those lights are green, that your clock in says. At Walmart, we had like 4 minutes, I believe. At this other place, we had to log in and be clocked in by this time, and they wanted us there early to get our systems up, but we weren't supposed to clock in until 7, and then it was, you can't pull up your systems until you clock in, and you can't clock in until the top of the hour when your shift started. So you're right there at this hour. And then you have a job that says you work on the phones. Where does it say in your schedule when you work on the phone, if you clock in at 7, 8, or 9 a.m., that you have to be on the phone at 5 minutes after? Where does it show you that in your schedule? It doesn't. So your boss comes around and keeps telling you, you got to be on calls by 5 after. You got to be on calls by 5 after. You got to be on calls by 5 after. So now you're there. It's 8:04. You clocked in, and you have to have your systems up and running in a minute to be on calls at 8:05. So you're looking for evidence that you are on calls at 8:05 so you don't get yelled at by your manager. So when you do that call, that meeting with your manager, that coaching, I've been in those coachings with, and if you have call times, you're watching the clock because, oh, I gotta get my call off. I gotta get my call off. I got 4 minutes, and I gotta get this person's problems out, and I gotta be off. When I worked at the bank, it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So by the time you called in, you verified them, you talked to them, you had to get them off the phone at 2 minutes. That's a lot of pressure. So you're looking for evidence that you do this because you're walking around going, my call times are 2 minutes. My call times are 2 minutes. My call times are 2 minutes. I promise you my call times weren't 2 minutes. Every coaching, your calls are too long. 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 Who manifested what? My boss was saying my calls were too long. The Big Boss was saying my calls were too long. So 2 people were talking about my calls being too long. So I didn't bother to manifest against it because I didn't care. It was a job. The only thing they complained about on my calls were that they were too long. Too long. You're doing the same thing with your specific person. You're talking all day long saying no texts. They can't text you. No dates. They can't take you out on a date. They asked you for a date and then they canceled the date. So now you're saying they canceled the date. So you're giving the order to the waiter, the universe, to deliver in your 3D, the reality you live in, whether or not they show up. Because you're constantly telling me or your friends or your family, and people tell me, Suzie, I don't say this to anybody else. How many people walk around and talk to themselves? I do. Do you talk out loud to yourself? Because I know people who do. I ask my clients, and every one of them say, well, yeah, I talk in my head and I talk out loud. I'm like, I can't talk in my head because I have no voice. So now I'm going to mentally argue with one of my clients. Oh, wait, let's mentally argue with my ex-husband. I can hear his voice in my head. And I can hear him telling me, you're useless. You're a waste of time. You should just quit telling people how to have a better life and get your own life. The worst thing I ever did was let you have the book, The Secret. It ruined you. Go back to being the woman you were when we lived in Chicago. You were such a sweet lady then. Okay, well, that woman who lived in Chicago didn't have kids. So I'm supposed to go back to being a person I was before I had kids. That person waited on him hand and foot. But then I got kids, and he wasn't always the priority to be waited on hand and foot. Because, you know, the baby cries and needs to be fed. And if you don't pick up an infant, it can't feed itself. But he sure as the heck can get up and go get his own drink. See where I'm going with this? You want your specific person to be somebody they were in the past. But you're not the person who you were in the past. So you're like, I want to get back. I'm in the wrong timeline. I want to get back to my life. I want to get back. Maybe you should just start doing what you did back then. And not get back to then, but what were you saying then when everything was working out? What were you saying when the love of your life was treating you with kindness? What were you doing when the love of your life was respecting you, answering your messages? You weren't telling people they were ignoring you. You weren't telling people that they were ghosting you. So then your relationship started going bad and you started Google, Ask Jeeves, Bing. Those are 3 of the search engines I know. And you were either on Safari, Foxfire, IE, Microsoft. I don't know what the Android browser is. It might just be Google. I don't know because I don't have an Android. I have not, so don't know what it is. But you go to that browser and you type in, how do I get back together with my ex? Funny thing is, you're not really broke up. Most of my clients, it's just hot and cold. They're not really broke up. And yes, some of them, the person is dating the other somebody else. But let me ask you a question. Did you actually break up, or did you just start complaining that he was cheating on you? And now this cheating is public. Because I have a client and the person tells them all the time, I'm not the one for you. I'm not the one for you. You deserve somebody who makes you happy. You deserve somebody who gives you everything you need and then some. And he tells her, we don't work as a relationship. But she's constantly repeating that they break up. But he's constantly calling her, texting her. There might be days in between. But every time she texts him, he responds. That's not broke up. That means that your relationship is there and it needs to be tweaked so it can be the relationship you desire. But let's go back to the basics. You have 0 problems. 0 problems. What relationship coach teaches you that you have 0 problems? If you are walking around saying, oh, I'm so blessed, I'm so lucky, I'm so spoiled, I have 0 problems. Like, I'm spoiled, I have 0 problems. I am so spoiled, I have 0 problems. When I did calls at the call center, people would go, how are you today? And I'd say, I'm spoiled. They're like, you're spoiled? Absolutely, I'm spoiled. Work today, bought pizza for lunch, I'm spoiled. Work spoils me. Life spoils me. Why did I leave? Because I said other things about the place I didn't like. And also, I was building the life of my dreams where I was coaching full time, where I was enjoying my life, that I got to help people to have better quality relationships, to live their dream life. So my coworkers were literally saying, Suzie, why don't you quit? You don't need this job. You don't need the money. Quit. Suzie, quit. Suzie, quit. Suzie, quit. Suzie, quit. It's what I kept hearing. So my coworkers were helping me to manifest my dream life. They're like, you don't need the stress. You don't need to be constantly yelled at because your call times are too long. My coworkers were helping me to get what I want. So you have a job where you're in the public and you're a waiter and you walk up to the table and you say, good afternoon, it is a beautiful day. What can I get you to start with? What can I get you to start? Good afternoon, it's a beautiful day. What can I get you to start? Good evening, it's a beautiful evening. What can I get you to start? You're going to order your drinks. And then you want an appetizer. You already know you want an appetizer, so you're going to order it. You're not going to wait for him to ask. Because the waiters do these things. They ask you what you want to drink, and then they leave the table, and they come back with your drinks. And they ask you if you're ready to place your dinner order, your lunch order, your breakfast order, and they leave. But when you want an appetizer, you speak it out loud. So you're going to Outback for dinner, and the waiter comes to the table, and you're ordering properly, and you go, they ask you what you want to drink, and you say, I want a pina colada and a glass of water and a blooming onion. That's specific. You specifically just ordered what you want. If I'm driving and I don't have a DD, the waiter says, what can I get you to start? I want a Diet Dr. Pepper and a blooming onion. Don't forget my bread. Literally, that's what we do when we go to a restaurant. But when we leave the restaurant and we're in the grocery store and we can't find what we want, we're like, oh, I can't find this, I can't find this, I can't find this, I can't find this. Instead of, oh my gosh, you know, they rearranged the store, but it's easy to find what I need. In my store, I moved here in 1992, in the Walmart that I shop in predominantly. I don't really have a grocery store near me, so I have Walmart and Food for Less. If I want to go to the other side of the next town over, which is about a 20-minute drive, I have a Harps. I have a neighborhood market. So those aren't like really like a Winn-Dixie, a Publix, what is the other one? I forget. But they're I don't have a grocery store like that. So I go to Walmart and I want coffee. In 1992, I walked into the store. The first aisle is the refrigerator, freezer sections. The second aisle is freezer sections. The third aisle from the door had coffee. They moved it. Since 1992, that coffee has been in that aisle. So in 2023, they decided to remodel the store and move the coffee all the way to the other end of the store. Can't find the coffee. So I stop and ask a Walmart associate. You know what he told me? They moved the coffee to the kitchen area by the coffee pots. And they did. They put some coffee over there. So if you're buying a coffee pot, you can get coffee. Smart move. But where's the Dunkin' Donuts, the donut coffee, the Folgers, Maxwell House, the Best Choice, the whatever brand, Starbucks? Where is that at? You know, the cans, the bags, the pods. Oh, they put it down by the coolers where the milk is. So you have the coolers where the milk is, and then you have the alcohol aisle, and then you have the pop aisle, and then you have the coffee aisle. So it's the third aisle from the end. We are so used to things being this way. So then we're like, can it go back to being the way it was? Can it go back to being the way it was? Oh, I wish it would go back to being the way it was, because I'm so tired of this hot and cold. We don't stop talking about the things we want. We have a problem, and until we solve that problem, we blurt out. We mouth vomit. Narcissists are famous for this. They destroy holidays. They destroy birthdays. They destroy special events, occasions. If you were getting married, a narcissist is going to ruin the wedding. They're literally going to ruin the wedding. You plan for this big, beautiful day, and this toxic person is going to ruin the wedding. But in all of my clients, so I'm well over 2,000 clients that I have worked on one-on-one in the last 10 years, 11 years. Well, 2012 on Facebook. If I go back to when I was 14 years old, it's a really long time ago, 2 people that I have helped have had a true toxic person. The rest of you just have had people that are sick and tired of the games. Sick and tired of the, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. They're tired of being accused of doing something wrong. And eventually when you accuse somebody of doing something wrong, they go do it anyways. So let's talk about this. To change your perspective, to change your reality, to change things, you have to put your order out there. What are you ordering? Because when you order out loud, the universe delivers. If you don't go on your tablet and pull up Applebee's, because I order from Applebee's once in a while. So I go to Google and I type in on my keyboard, show keyboard, Applebee's. And then I go Applebee's near me. And then I go to that location. I want the one here. And then look, I go over here. It says order online. So I click order online and it gives me this screen. So I actually have to go in here and place an order. I can't just pull up at Applebee's, pull into the drive-through thing where the sign says deliver, call this number, or check in on your device, because we check in. My daughter and I ordered something from Walmart yesterday. It was on my app, so I had to check her in. She couldn't check in because it wouldn't let her check in from the email. Think about it. What you order is what you get. And if you don't place the order in the proper place, it's not going to show up. And back to the comment, you are looking for proof that your order showed up. You don't go to a restaurant, place an order, pay the check, and not get the food. You don't. So you go to the restaurant, you get the check, and you paid for something you didn't get, you're not going to pay that bill. So you got evidence, and you watched the time to see how long it took for your drink to come out, your food to come out. You critiqued the order in which it came out. When Ash and I would go out to dinner all the time, my meal would come out a lot of times first. And we had one check. One night she'd pay, one time I'd pay, she'd pay, I'd pay, she'd pay, I'd pay. So we ordered at the same time, but my meal would come out first. And she would say, I just wish once my meal would come out first. So I was there early one day, and I was like, they serve her first, they serve her first. Oh, I'm so excited to see her face because they serve her first. Just a brief little, they serve her first. Her meal came out first, and she goes, you did this. I said, how about we start saying that it comes out together? And she said, okay. So where we would eat, they got used to us, and they knew the check was one. And then we'd have wait staff who would protect us from creepy guys. And they would say, oh, you're not their type. And they're like, oh, yes, we are. And they're like, no, you're not. And they'd bring the check, and whichever one of us, it's usually me, I got called the wife in the relationship. They'd bring out the check, and they'd say, which one's paying tonight? And I'd said, I'm paying tonight. And they would say, oh, the wife is paying tonight? And I'm like, yep, the wife is paying tonight. So we put out to some of these guys, you know. I give out Jenny's phone number, 8675309, to people I don't really want to have my phone number. That is my one goal in life, to have that number. I would love to have that number. What are you doing? Because what you speak out loud is what you get. I literally was having to transfer somebody one day on a call, and we were talking in musical notes on the call trying to fix the problem, and I couldn't fix it, so I had to transfer them. And when I transferred this person, I adapted the "it's a beautiful day." And the person said, "It's just another day in paradise." And I said, "Jimmy Buffett would be proud." And he said, "Yes, he would." And we were working on his problem. And he said, "I'm just trying to get this fixed." And I said, "Come on, day, it'll be all right." The person laughed, thought it was funny. And then I was explaining stuff to him, and I used the numbers. I'm like, okay, so we're going to use Jenny's number, 8675309. And, you know, you have this number. And we're going to just do 8675309 and 123456789. Like, it's all good. And we're going to talk about these numbers. And I said we couldn't fix it, so I had to transfer this person. And when I transferred this person, the person who picked up said, "Thank you for calling." They said the department and said, "My name is Jenny." And I just started laughing. I said, "Jenny, this is Suzie. I'm a customer on the line. I've been trying to help. Can't fix the issue." I said, "I've done this and this and this. This is what's going on. I've done this and this and this." And I said, "And if the customer brings up Jenny's number, I always use numbers when doing stuff." And she said, "I get that a lot." I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "We were talking, you know, it's a beautiful day, 5 o'clock somewhere, Jenny's number." And she said, "All right, bring the customer on the line." So I brought the person on the line, and I said to the person, and I'm going to use Jason, "Jason, I got Jenny's number. So Jenny's going to go ahead and take over this call and see if she can get this fixed for you." And he started laughing. When we send out to the universe, we get back. And whatever job you're in, you greet somebody. "Good afternoon, it's a beautiful day. How can I help you today?" "Good afternoon, it's a beautiful day." "Excuse me, miss, it's a beautiful day. Tell me how I can help you." "Excuse me, miss, you seem to be lost. How can I help you?" Which sounds better? "Excuse me, it's a beautiful day. You seem to be looking around for something. Is there something I can assist you with today?" Because now you're telling the universe, beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day. It's like my dream life. 0 problems. How you doing today? I'm spoiled and I have zero problems. And people are going to go, well, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Or, oh, I wish I had that. Well, I'm really lucky and blessed. And you know what? I say it all the time anyways. So let's get this out there. Choose your words carefully, because what you speak out loud is what the universe is going to deliver to you. Forget about 5D and 3D. If you want 5D to be in 3D, you want your specific person to conform, start saying you're seeing it. Because these coaches are wrong. Whoever said this to this person is wrong. Whatever video they said it on is wrong. Oh, my baby's growing up. How do I stop that? My iPad. My babies are growing up. Look at that. Life is your words. I changed my perspective. I got a permanent perspective change. Somebody said something and bam, that click came in. And now I see the perspective of abundance, love, enjoying life. Because until you see that perspective, you're going to waddle. So don't worry about waddling. Persist. Focus forward. Because when you continue to say what you want to create in your reality, that shows up in your reality. So choose your words wisely, because words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling. Witches do spells, but words can be spoken and create the same thing. You're casting a spell over the love of your life to do bad by repeating the bad. So change your words. Cast your words to do good. There's nothing wrong in doing good. So for those of you who say, oh, I can't do that, you can't send out good, you can't talk good about the love of your life, then why do you want to be with that person? Because I'm not going to be in a relationship ever again where somebody talks about me bad. Hasta la vista, sayonara, ciao, I'm out. And I'm going to block you, because I'm not going to be in a relationship where somebody talks bad. I don't like coaching people when they walk around going, Suzie, why am I not getting this? Suzie, why am I not getting this? You have the best success rate. Why am I not getting this? I don't want to coach a person who does that. But when somebody goes, thank you, Suzie, for helping me get everything I want, I'm going to show up excited to coach you. So if I can feel what you're saying, what you're doing, I'm going to show up. And I'm going to be that person you're saying I'm being. Because you're praising me in a negative light or a positive light. And the more you praise me in a positive light, the more you're going to get what you want. You know what? I'm so glad that Suzie sees this and I'm going to get this. And I'm even gladder now and happy now because it's here. It's here. The love of my life is here. My job that I want is here. I am living my dream life because I watch Suzie's videos. You change your words, you ask better questions, you answer your questions, you do the Swann technique, because the Swann technique is about asking questions and answering them so you get what you desire. And if you're not doing that, then that is why you're not getting success, because you're saying, I want it to change, but it's not. So instead, say, I see it's changing because it's changing for the better. This bad stuff, something good's going to happen out of it. Let's go back to 2020 when I got assaulted and I said nothing good has come out of this. If I would have said something good came out of that, maybe something good would have come out of it. Like, oh, yeah, he got prosecuted. But I didn't. And nobody stopped me from saying those words. We all get stuck in that cycle. Stop beating yourself up. Stop praising yourself. Stop saying I suck at manifesting, and start saying I'm great at creating. You know, I get everything I want and life is fun and easy. You know, life is just magical. I have a client who everybody tells her you're magical. And then yet she sends out the order to cancel dates. So she's magical for you, but she cancels dates for herself. That's all you're doing. You know, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I tried to give you guys examples and ideas on how to drastically change your life for the better. Just pick a video, record a segment, turn it into an MP3, and listen to that segment every single day. When you're down, when you're happy, when you're frustrated, when you're enjoying life, when you're excited to go meet the love of your life, put that in there. That segment. You know, maybe I'll just do that video where you're amazing, you're loving, you're incredible, you got this. I'll do that for you guys. And you play that video all day, every single day. What are you going to get? You're going to get a better life because you chose your words to change your life. I love you guys. Have an absolutely positively amazing day. And as always, leave me a comment. Let me know how I'm drastically changing your life for the better. Remember, Jason made that post. You remember seeing that post. He made it. Travis is cured. He's living his long, healthy, incredible life, enjoying life even more now that he is healthy. If you want to be the match, check out the link in my description below. Go to Google and you can swab to be the match to save somebody's life or maybe help in another way. Again, I love you. Have an